this. I hope everybody's okay about that. And I'm just going to share my screen. Can everybody? No, actually, nobody can see that, can they yet? Let's do that properly, Gordon. Right. So, can everybody see that? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, right. Okie dokie. So, a warm welcome to everybody. Just a few slides from me before I introduce you to our guests. For those of you that don't know who I am, um, I like to think I'm a reasonably good influencer marketing expert. I host my own podcast, which is called Influence. Do check it out if you've not already. I'm also the author of Influencer Marketing Strategy, which is conveniently located behind me. It was launched this year. Lots and lots of great tips and ideas in that. And our friends from Hype Auditor actually featured in that, particularly amongst fake followers and vetting influencers, which is really important. I'm also a keynote speaker and I host lots of panels on various events, but you can also work with me on a one-to-one basis. So much so that just recently I launched my first influencer marketing program, which is all about helping companies and organizations be more influential. I'm not going to go through that in a huge amount of detail, but suffice to say, if any of you are interested in exploring and having a one-to-one with me for half an hour on your own influencer strategy, delighted to help you. So today really is all about vetting and finding influencers, and we have talked about this before on a previous roundtable event, but we've not had the benefit of having an influencer marketing platform as guests. The reason why I wanted to show you guys the Hype Auditor program is because what you will find is something amazing. When a lot of you probably have done influencer marketing, you may have done it manually, but you may not have seen what is possible. And this platform that you're going to see in a minute will blow your mind about what you can understand about followers, audience value, age and gender, ethnicity, language. You can find out the yearly household income of some of the followers. You can find out their educational level, their marital status. This is quite insane. Anyway, without further ado, I want to a warm welcome to Nikita and Anastasia. Nikita is head of marketing at Hype Auditor, and Anastasia is in the business development side. So she's going to talk to you about the platform now. If you've got some questions, just hold on to them for a little bit, and then she's going to speak for about 20 minutes or so. There should be enough, Anastasia, just so that
Yep.
you get just to get a flavour for it. If you do want to ask any questions, though, that you use the chat by all means. Any questions at all? But over to you, and a warm welcome to Anastasia and Nikita.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Gordon. Hello, everybody. My name is Anastasia, and I'm Business Development Manager and Hype Auditor. And today I would like to share my screen and tell you more about Hype Auditor and Hype Auditor features and how basically you can search and vet influencers. So Hype Auditor is influencer marketing analytical platform that will help you to run your influencer marketing campaigns basically from scratch up to the end. But today, let us concentrate on the influencer search. We call it influencer discovery tool in our platform. And we have huge database of accounts all over the world that will help you to find the most relevant influencer. So far we cover 4 social networks, but as most of us interested in Instagram influencers, because most of the influencers in Instagram so far, let me show you how we advise to search for the most important influencer for your campaign and brand ambassadors. So first, you would need to describe your perfect brand ambassador content. So you can describe it by keywords or category. The difference between category and keywords is that category is kind of broad. Let's say if you're looking for an influencer in a beauty category, you'll find a lot of influencers who are talking about, let's say, nails, makeup, hair, design, and so on. A lot of things in beauty. But if you have a specific request, let's, for example, assume you need to find an influencer who are talking about curly hair. You can use this curly hair as the keyword. The advice that I want to recommend you when you are looking for the right influencer and you have an idea, you have a portrait of the perfect topic that an influencer must talk about, but you don't know what keyword better to pick up, it would be great if you can just open the Instagram account, check out the capture of this influencer posts, and pick up most the word that the influencer uses the most to describe the content. So basically, you can use the same keyword here to describe this influencer content. So the next is influencer location. In our tool, the user can actually insert any city, country, and up to 3 position here. And next, filters in this block will help you to describe your influencer by gender, age of this influencer, language. This filter will help you eliminate friends account from the search and show only influencers account. This filter is verified and non-verified by Instagram. You remember this blue mark, but most of the time it's not that crucial when you're choosing the right influencer. And the next is contact info. So in case the influencer provided contact information as email, phone number in their Instagram bio, we will definitely show it to you in the full report. The second block will help you to describe your target audience. So people who would like to reach out. And here you can insert country, city, or state information. Let us insert here United Kingdom as well. And here you can change the percentage of audience that's supposed to be based in specific country and city. Please keep in mind that if you're looking for an influencer, let's say micro nano influencer with 5-10K followers, for sure the audience demographics, audience location, specific place would be could be greater than 45 or 50%. It could be up to 70%. As you can see here, number is changing. But if you'll set up 30, 25%, we can assume that with this number, 25% for audience based in specific city, you can find really great influencer. I mean, macro influencer with several 100,000 followers. So let's audience gender, audience age, audience ethnicity, and audience interests, you can insert accordingly right here. And next we have the third block here that will help you to describe your Instagram channel that you would like to find. First, by number of followers. In HypeAuditor, we have a limit of 1,000 followers. 1,000 followers is the minimum number of followers account that we can analyze and provide you with audience demographics information. The next is engagement rate, which you can insert accordingly. And, you know, I would like to pause here for a while. I hear a lot from my experience that engagement rate is the key when you're looking for the right Instagram influencer. Please keep in mind that when we talk about Instagram influencers, it's not that easy because some Instagram influencers might increase engagement rate artificially. There are many ways to do this. For example, like giveaways, activity, tag to win, and so on. It's better to have an influencer with average engagement rate, but authentic. So let me also draw your attention that when you're looking for an influencer with 100,000 followers, for sure it will be very tough to find the influencer with 15% engagement rate, 10% engagement rate. So
Actually, Anastasia, the average on Instagram is 1.6%.
Yes,
Guys,
yes.
1.6% is the average on Instagram. So, you know, when somebody's getting 3, 4, 5%, that's good.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you. And next filter that I want to show you is the filter that we created in HypeAuditor. I mean, this metric we created in HypeAuditor. The score is audience quality score. So audience quality score is dynamic metric from 1 to 100 that helps you to understand overall quality of the influencer audience. So it's not a secret that number of followers could be artificially increased. And in Hypodita, we analyze different behavior patterns of engaged students of the Instagram influencer. We actually analyze more than 53 behavior patterns, and this audience quality score based on 4 basic things as quality audience, engagement, authenticity, followers and following growth, and so on. So I will tell you more about this metric when we jump to the report. So far, I can just recommend that usually we do not recommend to work with influencers with audience quality scores lower than 30. Most probably the collaboration won't be really efficient. The next is account mentioned and not mentioned for last 180 days. So here you can enter the Instagram account that align very well with your brand or maybe with the service. And you can search influencers that mentioned this Instagram account for last half year. Alternatively, if you need to eliminate, for example, competitors, you can set this filter as account not mentioned for last 180 days. So you'll eliminate those influencers that mention specific account. The next filter is most recent posts, 7, 30, 90 days, will help you to find accounts that make posts regularly. For example, if you find the account that last post were like 30 days, would you be able to rely on the engagement rate today or maybe next week when you need to make collaboration with this influencer? So it's not guaranteed that engagement rate will remain the same. The next is trending accounts. So here you can search for rising stars. You can set this filter as 30 days followers growth, let's say from 2 to 5%. So you'll be looking for influencers that are growing. Please make sure you use this filter with good audience quality score filter so you can actually find accounts which are growing with authentic followers. The next is common trait. Okay, so different influencers most suitable for different influencer marketing campaigns KPIs. So when you choose the right influencer for your campaign, which KPI is conversions, definitely you need to verify more engagement rate. If you're looking for brand awareness and impressions, you need to check audience authenticity, audience reachability, reach, number of impressions, and so on. So here, a common trait filter will help you to find influencers which engagement rate is a bit higher than average, and community of this influencer like to communicate with this influencer. They actually leave a lot of comments. So you can set this filter as common trait good or high to find this type of influencer. And finally, similar as if you have just a perfect influencer and you just want to find the same one by audience demographics, audience interest, basically you can just enter the username right here and we are going to find the same account as the one you like. So here you can see a list of influencers that we find according to filters. In our tool, it actually doesn't matter how many time you change filters, so you can play with filters as you like. And we can check this influencer report that will help us to understand how we can vet influencers. So Hypodita, a few words, we actually started our business from verifying influencers because we find out that there's a huge problem in the market with the audience of influencer and not authentic, it's officially increased and so on. So first of all, we have created our audience quality score, and actually it's dynamic metrics. It shows you overall quality. And it's very important to understand that we compare influencers in their size group because we need to compare apples to apples, right? So 5 metrics in Hypodita report, we update every day. That's name, number of followers, engagement rate, audience quality score. Engagement rate, we calculate in the classic formula, number of likes plus number of likes, comments, divided number of followers for last 12 posts. Here you can see audience quality score, and hint, you can check up the definition, what we consider. So when you calculate audience quality score, we check engagement rate, followers and following growth, and quality audience and engagement intensity. Below, you can find information about audience demographics, for sure, and it's a very basic thing. And audience type will help you to understand the percentage of audience that we consider reachable. So real people and influencers highlighted in green because these 2 types of audience we consider as reachable audience. Mass followers and suspicious accounts we consider as hardly reachable audience. Because mass follower, for example, is the Instagram account which is following more than 1,500 accounts. Okay, personally, I have about 400 followers on my Instagram. And if I, for a while, while do not like or comment on my friend's post, I cannot see them from my feed. Now, can you imagine if you have more than 1,000 or 1,500 followers, will you be really able to see posts of all these people that you follow? So that's what we call mass following. Suspicious accounts. Suspicious accounts, that's an Instagram account which behavior pattern is quite different from real people behavior pattern. So we consider them highly reachable and we call them suspicious. So for you to understand if this number of real people and influencers is okay or not okay for the market, here we provide you with next two metrics we call audience reachability and audience authenticity. That will help you to understand if this number of reachable audience is okay or not okay. Similar accounts we provide here in the benchmark on the similar accounts in the same size group. So you can see similar accounts here. We have 79% of audience reachability and 96 for this influencer. Audience authenticity in average 60. For this guy, it's 94. Estimated reach, it's like minimum views and maximum views you can expect when you work with this influencer. The next is audience. Audience interests and audience brand affinity. Audience interests, it's a long list of categories that will help you to understand what are the influencers the audience of this influencer is following. And audience brand affinity is the list of brands that will help you to understand what brands the audience of this influencer somehow interacted with. They follow these brands, they like these brands, or maybe comment on their content. The next is audience yearly household income, education level, marital status. Notable followers, you can see here active accounts that comes from influencers category from here. So we show you the list of accounts that are active in comments, active in likes, and they have more than 100,000 followers. Could be useful to check out, like small community of this influencer. The next is growth on the followers and following. So here we also analyze with our AI growth patterns, different growth patterns. If we detected an abnormal growth or negative trends, you need to verify in content. So you can zoom any time period and analyze what happens this time. And with the content, you can see where's it really abnormal growth of followers. Or for example, you check this influencer and influencer before no one know about this influencer. And then one day the influencer participated in some TV show and woke up being a media star, it could happen. So need to check up the content as well. Speaking about following dynamics, as I said, there are several ways to grow number of followers. It's officially. Here we detected mass following. It means that influencer follow a lot of people day by day and then just unfollow those accounts that didn't follow back. So it's actually one of the way of growing number of followers. Mentioned by, here you'll see some accounts that mention this Instagram account for last 90 days. You can see also number of mentions and date. So we'll be interested to check also what accounts are mentioned, what they're talking about, check out the content. The next is engagement rate. As you can see for this account, engagement rate is a bit low because in average is 1% for this type of account. And next is engagement authenticity. So we verify engagement authenticity because if you're searching for influencer and your KPI is conversion, it will be very useful to understand if the audience is really authentic in this case. So first of all, we check like spread and likes comments ratio. It was more relevant like 2 years ago when the influencer just increased number of likes and some of them forget to increase number of comments. So you can see that this number of likes is about 1,000, but there is no comments. So that's why we check likes comments ratio. Speaking about like spread, if you have your own Instagram account, you probably noticed that audience can interact the same way for different types of posts. Some pictures receive more likes than the other. So if you see the same number of likes for each and every post in the feed, that's weird. Or the gap is 200%. How come? How could it happen? Speaking about comments authenticity, so there are many ways to increase number of comments. Some of them would be obvious from the feed, like giveaways, mention your friend. You can definitely scroll the feed and see them. But if influencer participate in common sports activity chat group, So there's like hidden group in different social networks, and the purpose to help participants to increase number of comments, likes, and feeds to increase engagement rate. Okay, you'll see good engagement rate. You'll see some people post and comment, but would this audience really convert to potential leads? So next is estimated value per post and story. Okay, we know that in real life, these numbers could be different. So how we provide you with this estimated price? There are a lot of influencers that actually in contact with HypeAudit, and we constantly ask them how much do they charge per post and story, and then we take into consideration this influence engagement rate, audience quality score to provide you with this range. So if you need some basement to start with and you don't know how to charge this, you can check up the value. So, and then negotiate with the influencer for sure. CPE, average CPE and average EMV you can find right here. So you can understand how much would it cost if you will just work with paid social instead of this influencer. Brand mentions block will help you to see what brands this influencer mentioned for last half year and how audience react to the brand mention content. Here we compare engagement rate of average posts and brand mention posts. Then you can see how many posts this influencer make per week. 42 per week, and 32% of the content is brand mention content. Next, you can see what brands this influencer mentioned, how many times and what was the engagement rate. And below, you can find similar accounts. They would be similar by audience demographics and audience interest. So in addition, I can say that HypeAudit some other features to track results of influencer marketing campaign. And we recently have released the feature that will help you to analyze market. We call it market analysis tool, and it's very interesting to check up your competitors, how many influencers they work with, what is the budget, and so on. So it provides you with insights. Here you can find, for example, players in UK in the beauty industry, leaders and high performance. And if you'd be interested to check exact brand, you can do this. You can do this in our competitor analysis tool. For example, we can check one brand very quick. Okay, let us check GHD for South Africa. And you can actually build this report for any country, for any time period. Here with our artificial intelligence algorithm, we can help you to understand what percentage of posts was sponsoring, what is likely sponsored, and other posts with the organics, number of mentions, effectiveness of this campaign, activity split by sponsored, likely sponsored posts, and for sure demographics. And here we have a part about most liked, most common, highest engagement, and lowest engagement posts that actually help you to understand what kind of strategy this brand used to work with this influencer. Maybe it was a giveaway or anything else. So you can check it out. And here you can find exact influencers that mention this brand. You can definitely filter all these influencers in this report by different metrics like account size. You can check like nano influencers and see their reach. And you can use different filters to make it, and all posts. So also with advanced filters, you can just check all posts and dive in to Instagram posts of this influencer and check all the details. So long story short, I think my 20 minutes is over.
Oh, I was just sending you a text to say, are you nearly done? That's brilliant. That's excellent. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So, do you want to just, well, actually, keep it open. Actually, I think
Okay.
so. Let's get some questions from anybody. Would anybody like, given their brands and everything, does anybody want us to just, while we've got the platform open here, with a deep dive into your sector or something, or fire away, guys?
Well, I have a couple of questions.
Go on.
Hi. Firstly, I was just curious about where you get all the information from. I mean, does this just trawl all of Instagram, or are you very specific about who you put into your database? And And how do you find them, and what are your sort of criteria for including them if that's the case?
Thank you for your question. So Hypodata is not connected with Instagram and Facebook API. We analyze only publicly available data. The reason why we can analyze only Instagram accounts with more than 1,000 followers is that for accounts with less than 1,000 followers, there is not enough public data for us to analyze. So we won't be able to provide it with audience demographics and audience type. Speaking about adding more accounts to our database, it happens by two methods. The first is when every time the new user insert the new Instagram account or any other social network account that we haven't calculated yet. So it's the first for us. The most crucial criteria is for us to calculate this account. So it must be greater than 1,000 followers. It shouldn't be restricted in any country. I mean, it should be public in all countries, because if you would like to analyze some alcohol or tobacco brands accounts, we won't be able to provide you with the report, because it's not public, it's restricted in several countries and by age. So, and yeah, that's the first method when our users insert the account. And the second is when we analyze engaged audience of the Instagram influencers, we are constantly checking for some new accounts with more than 10,000 followers that actually we can calculate and keep it in our database.
Wow, this looks amazing. Really phenomenal amount of info in there. Is it? I presume it's a subscription based, and is there a sort of minimum term for subscription, or is it something you can kind of drop in and out of if you wanted to when you needed it?
Yes. So Hypodata pricing is subscription-based pricing. We have monthly offers, quarterly, half-yearly, and yearly.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and we'll put the details. I mean, when I follow up, I'll make sure that you've got Anastasia's contact details. So if you want to have a further call, and if you wanted to have even great, because I know it's a bit of a mind-blowing thing for some of you that perhaps haven't seen that amount of data before. But what I find particularly fascinating is at the end of the day, we're not connecting just with influencers. I always see influencers as a conveyor belt. It's understanding what their audience is, and so many people have made the mistake in looking at somebody that's got a huge amount of followers and not realizing that 60% of their audience is in America, 20% of their audience is suspicious activity, and then actually if you then start to minimize that down and you look at the available reach, you then start to question that. And what we're all looking for is to try and narrow down to almost find our perfect influencer. And the way to do that is by using really solid data metrics to do that, I think. And as I say, one of the things I've loved about this platform is, I mean, we've been talking about Instagram, of course, but the guys don't just do Instagram, also look at TikTok, which of course has been a hugely emerging platform, and of course YouTube as well, which again is very important for influencers. But the reports that you can get are hugely detailed. I think as well, am I right in thinking this, Anastasia? You'll also get the top follower profiles of that influencer as well. So you're not only getting detail on the influencer and their audience overall, but you're getting a synopsis of some of the top people that follow them. So that in itself is hugely valuable. Anyway, good question, Alison.
We do this in notable followers, and it's very useful information according to our use case. A lot of different advertisers are looking for accounts and want to check their influencers to understand the community, the group that this influencer in contact with, and maybe if they are looking for some kind of audience overlap, they can check out this particular group of influencers.
Yeah. Jordianne, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I had a question about the Discovery tab. So after you've purchased a report, well, actually, two questions here. First of all, is there a way to filter it so you can see the influencer on multiple platforms rather than just one?
Good question. Thank you so much. Actually, we have this kind of feature in our roadmap, with tech team, because we started to have this request not so long time ago from several of our brands, just recently, actually this year, and yet it's not released. So right now you won't be able to search for an influencer and see all social networks of this guy. The reason for this, why we didn't make this feature before, is that we are sure that it's not like there is no general analytics for all social network for one person, because as you can imagine, one Instagram account, I mean, one person, if it has an Instagram account and TikTok account, definitely would have completely different audience demographics and performance, because the audience is different, performance is different, content logic of the social media is completely different. So from the very beginning, we prefer to split social media accounts in different, according to different Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok social networks. So we're thinking about creating this feature soon, but hopefully this year. Had to answer the date of release.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then the second part to the question, sorry, Gordon, is does that report update? Because so from what I understand, you pay a subscription, you get a certain amount of reports. Each time you unlock a report, that's sort of cost you money. Does that report update, or how long does it? Do you have access to an updated report?
Yes, thank you for this question. Actually, 5 metrics in Hype Auditor report we update every day. That's basic metrics: name, picture, number of followers, engagement rate, and audience quality score. The whole report will be automatically updated for 1 year. So, but for different metrics, we update it in different time. For example, 5 metrics update every day. When it comes to audience demographics and audience type, we update this information once in 30 days, because we need to see significant changes, in this data set to update it. And all the metrics that are connected with engagement rate, we update them with new posts. So every time when the new post posted in the feed, we just wait for engaged audience, to come and like this, and then we can recalculate this report. So yeah, and I really advise you, when you choose the right influencer, please check, verify the report at least several times. So when you choose this influencer to work with and before the campaign begins, because audience quality score could be different.
Great, lovely, thank you. Would anybody like to just try just to do a bit of a search based upon their sector? I mean, Natasha, do you want to? Should we have a look at? Should we look at maybe somebody that's interested in fashion that could work for you? Could be an ideal influencer. So Anastasia, did you get what Natasha does? So she largely produces and is a designer for stylish jeans, and high end. So they're not, they're really top end. So it's about trying to find, and they're women, aren't they? For women, aren't they, Natasha?
That's for women. Yes,
Okay.
That's right.
So let's see if we can find some people and just through a process.
Sure.
That might be quite good.
Okay, what I would start it from, I will choose the category fashion just to see the general results we'll have in this niche, and then maybe I'll proceed with the keywords that will describe exact content. So, it will be hard to find influencers who are talking only about jeans, right? So most of the time, this influencer who would be suitable for this type of product, they will be talking about fashion, outlook, maybe try different looks, maybe mention some brands in this niche and so on. So let us just imagine the picture, the portrait of this type of influencer. So let's first try fashion category, influencer location. Okay, we're looking for example, United Kingdom. Influencer gender could be male, female. If it's crucial for you, you can insert it here. But I suppose that the audience location, audience demographics would be very important, right? So we can set here United Kingdom, and let us set 60 for a beginning. Audience gender, do you have here any preference, male or female audience?
It's female.
All right.
Yes.
And I set here automatically 50%. Audience age, what do you think?
So we kind of go from 25 to 45 as our kind of demographic starting out. Obviously we want to grow either side, but as something to start with. So yeah.
Okay, let me set as then elder 25 years old and set it like greater than 50%. And next, audience needs to and interested. I would leave it empty for now. You can just narrow down if you want. So far, as you can see, all the filters that we use, we find 222 influencers. Okay, so definitely when we fill the thought block, there will be less. Okay, what type of influencer? It was crucial for you to have some any criteria on influencer account size.
So, I mean, we've started out gifting to our influencers because obviously we're kind of, we're still a very new young brand and we haven't got massive budgets to pay because some influencers are charging 400 to £1,000 a post. So we're kind of going under 50k at the moment. So around 20 to 30k we're looking at. But I mean, at the moment we haven't been hugely successful in that. So I don't know if it's time to change our strategy.
Let's just verify. Let's just verify influencers and make sure that actually the audience demographics match with your target audience. And okay, I would recommend to leave engagement rate open right now. And the most crucial is to make sure that we eliminate not good quality influencers with audience quality score. And so far, I would leave this filters open and see what we have, because so far we have 38 results. And here we see some influencers. Like we can, without opening reports, we can just check up here to press this button, view Instagram. So you'll be redirected to Instagram account of the same. So you can check the content first, like if you're not. While this Instagram account is opening, let me show you here what you can find here. Username, audience quality score, and
I know
account.
This is important. What
I know this influencer.
What Anastasia?
Oh, you know this influencer.
I think what Anastasia is saying is really important because obviously the data is about just giving you the data, but once you then start to look at the feed, you look at the consistency, you look at the aesthetic, and you think, right, is this aligned with my brand? Because that's finding the right influencer and all the data is only step one. Step two is, I mean, look at this one. I mean, if that was your niche, they're consistent in their way that they're posting everything.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very important for sure, not just by the metrics, but numbers that are very important, but it's also very interesting to check up. Maybe if, for example, if you'll play a bit more with some filters, let us, for example, set it 35. Now we have 83 results you see here. And now let us lease a bit the number of followers. We set 100. Now we have 118 results. So that's the reason why I always say to most of our users, play with filters, try different setups. Definitely you will have different results. So you might not find this type of influencer. It's not necessary to open all the reports, just open detailed reports on this influencer that you're really sure you want to verify and you're okay with content. So find the account. Oh, so beautiful content. So yeah, and from there, when you're sure that you want to know more detailed about this influencer, here you can find like an overall picture about this Instagram account, engagement rate, quality audience, total number of followers. So as you can see, quality audience, real people and influencers, about 80% of this account, we can see from here. Category, the influencer is talking about beauty, fashion, lifestyle. As you can see from the content, I got it right. And this category we actually take from here, from the description in bio. And here we have audience age. Okay, it matches female and 61% of the audience based in UK. So if you're sure you want to know more about this influencer, you click on view the report and open the report to see full details. And same here, it will be great. Yeah, looks good. And audience brand affinity and interest, beauty, fashion. So I guess this influence would be good, maybe for jeans advertisement. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at, because the thing is, with our jeans, they are not just jeans, they're quite different. And because it's a different product that people haven't seen before, it takes, what we've realized is that people that like normal jeans are quite scared to try our jeans because they don't know what they are really. So we're kind of trying to use different keywords to find influences that are maybe a bit more daring, want to try new things, or are a bit more stand up from a sea of blue kind of thing. So I was just going to ask, I think if I remember saying, you can search using keywords for certain influences, like, dare to stand out, dare to be different, those kind of keywords, because it's for people that aren't trying to blend in. It's people who want to stand out. Do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of challenge we have of finding people that are willing to try new things,
Yeah, I get
in
your
fashion.
point. It's just, let me explain the logic of Hypodita algorithm of this searching by the keywords. Keywords basically, will help you to find influencer in that mention these keywords to describe the content, average content. Like, and
Right.
this keyword is dare to be different. It's like the type of influencer, the characteristic of the content. So it should be someone specific that that this influencer is active and known that it's brave to try something new, something else. You can just, if you have this type of account, you can use this filter similar as to enter the username and try to find the same type of account.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and also in addition, I would recommend you to try different types of influencers content, not just fashion, but maybe family, maybe some kind of active sport,
I mean, and I think you make a good point there, because at the end of the day, this is the biggest part of influencer marketing is the research. It's almost like 80-20. The old rule of 80-20. Well, 80% of it is getting your. It's like, for example, you wouldn't hire somebody within your business that you hadn't done proper research in. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because, and it's the same principle,
Yeah.
I guess, from here.
Yeah.
What the platform does is it gives you so much more detail, and just as Anastasia has been moving things around flexibly for you and using filters, it's almost like helping you find this ideal type of individual. So I think that's great. I'm just conscious of time.
That's amazing.
I'm just conscious of time. Alison has just said, can we use hashtags? Can we search by hashtags? And I think the answer is yes, we can, can't we, Anastasia?
Yeah, you can use the hashtag as a keyword. Yeah, definitely it's possible. For sure. By the way, we have very, very quick. We have another type of report is content analysis report, and we have a user-generated hashtags report here. So if you would like to find an influencer that ever mentioned this hashtag, you can do this via another report. So for example, like it's generally the use case for some kind of advertising campaign, or maybe the purpose of to find influencers that mention this hashtag. You can do this. You could do this here and see the whole list.
Okay, good. I hope you found that beneficial, everybody. Did everybody find that useful?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Thank you.
Great.
Fascinating.
And as I say, I'm sorry we haven't had the chance to speak to everybody here. I did put Anastasia's email. I hope you don't mind in the chat. Because I know sometimes when you're thinking of something, you want to be talking about your own relevance, and trying to digest quite a lot in one call can be a lot. But all I wanted to do is just to say, look what's possible. If you think about how much time it takes to just find something on Instagram, yes, you can still do that, but with amazing search tools, you can really niche it down to the right type of individual. So just want to say thank you very much for our guests, Nikita and Anastasia, for today. Same time again next week, Wednesday, if you're interested. I think, is everybody in the Influencer Marketing Secrets group, Facebook group? If you are not, then please join us. We've got nearly 250 odd members in there, and we're putting lots of really great content in there, and will be a copy of this video in there as well. So unless there's anything else, I just really wanted to say thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you soon. Yeah, actually, I'm going to just get a print screen, oughtn't I? Because we've got a nice bunch of people. Should we do a little smiley face? Everybody looks smiley and excited. Georgianne, look. Can you look? Right, there you go. Right, great. Okay. All right, people. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you. Have a
Lauren.
great day.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.